Welcome to the Made for Money podcast, where feminine wisdom meets financial power. I'm your host, Christine Walsh, financial strategist for women entrepreneurs, fractional CFO, speaker, and author of the best-selling book, Be the Queen of Your Money, and guide for women who are rewriting their money stories and unapologetically rising into their wealth. Let's do this. Welcome back, you beautiful people. Last week, I spoke about the connection of holding wealth in and through the body, through the powerful yet simple concept of breath. This week, I wanted to continue that idea and pull in more of the body's sense of being in connection with wealth, being in connection with money. And women, whether by choice or by force, have been disconnected from their bodies for millennia, for many reasons. And yet the body is everything. It's such a representation of how we hold lots of different things. But of course, in the conversations here at Made for Money, it's about wealth and money and all things flow. And so what I love about the breath episode, which was episode 11, this is episode 12, the breath episode was that breath is always with us. It's our life force energy. It allows us, if willing and if present to connect to the ever thinking, ever processing, ever analyzing, beautiful, gorgeous, especially around money, mind. And the experience of having, of holding, of being in relationship with money is an embodied experience, no matter who is holding it. It's that felt sense of owning it that I love about the connection of body, breath, and mind. So from a feminine power position, which is an approach I like to take around money, holding wealth, and not the only way, but a way that is emerging as a powerful way, the feminine power position of holding wealth, of holding money, of increasing your income, increasing your prosperity, abundance, whatever it is a sensual act of creation. That creation of anything, including money, is a sensual act. And just think about anything that you want to create, anything that you have created. It takes something deeper than just the thinking mind. It takes an emotion. You got to feel it. You got to touch it. You got to see it. You got to smell it. You got to hear it. You need to be in it. It reminds me of back when in New York State, the lottery system there, New York State Lottery, had a saying, you got to be in it to win it. Not that I want you to be playing the lottery, but you got to be in it. And there has to be that impulse, and it comes from you. Like no one's going to tell you to create anything. It may give you an idea or a pulse or something, but it sources from you when you're in creation, and you're the catalyst. And applying any of the senses is the spark. And that's what I want to touch on today. If you're anything like me, the busyness of the world is that we get disconnected from our senses. Life definitely moves fast. It moves ups and downs and ins and outs and all the ways around. Money might be tight, and really, who has time for feeling anything? We got things to do. And yet, maybe connecting to our senses, and I'll use the word sensuality, and I've used it already, but just to clarify, I'm not speaking from a place of a sexual place as much, and there can be that in creation, obviously, but from a very sensual perspective, set around senses, like senses which actually bring us back to our own life force energy, our own vitality. It gives us a glimmer of what's working. It gives us a glimmer of what's not working. It adds to creativity. It brings it to life, particularly when it feels really dark out there. And it can be hard to do that, to connect to our feeling sense when it's a hard world. And the thing that I feel is important to share here, so it's sort of like a little secret, so you can come in a little closer. Money's a terrible motivator, and in the long term, it can lead to only driving for money, can lead to resentment, it can lead to even burnout, and we're not going for that here. So money money motivation is good in the short term. There have been times when money could be a great driver. And it's not a wrong or right, but I want to introduce a different philosophy that, going for just the money is not necessarily the greatest thing, because really, what is the money doing? It's actually buying something. It's giving us something. It's exchange for something that's driving back to a feeling. So money in the short term can be helpful in creating flow, but for a long-term peace of mind, it's not the greatest driver unless burn out your goal. And if that is, then you're in the wrong room around here. But if you're asking yourself and me, like Christine, why do I then want money intellectually but pull away from it emotionally? Or why does growth feel numbing or emotionally hard instead of exciting? Or how can I be someone who can enjoy money and hold it and direct it, steward it without contracting? And the answer is through sensory practice, sensory presence. It's how you stay with it, how you stay with the money when it is pulling you forward towards something or it is pulling you away, you stay with it. And the great thing about this concept is, yeah, we totally talk about money here, but this works in all the ways that whatever else you might be contracting around, whether that's food or intimate relationships or relationships to self, alcohol, family, that's a big one. They're all big ones. And, after, as I list them out, money actually might be the easiest to start with. I don't know. There's an invitation for you. So bottom line here and takeaway here in this episode, and I'll go through some practical ways to work through senses, is we get to direct, or as I like to say, steward the money in a way that we can be in it, right? You can't direct something. You can't have impact on something that you can't be present in, you can't live into, you can't expand into, you can't inhabit it. For us to direct something, we need to inhabit it. And money's directly related to that. So want this approach of feminine money power, or in other words, want more money in your bank account? I'll just put it that way, straight up. Embody it, own it. This piece around senses is that each sense, if we consider it as a portal to receiving money and to owning it really, like, unapologetically. And the body needs to be open to receiving it before the bank account. The body needs to be open to receiving money before the bank account does. And this isn't like woo-woo, wackadoodle stuff here. It's actually physics. So your practice this week is through the senses. So first, we'll just start with intention before attention. Intention before attention. If you remember, we're setting the intention. Why are you doing this? Why would this practice make sense? And notice what comes up. If you want to make more money, let me try the sensory practice. Like, why do you want to make more money? What's it all for? And just notice what comes up. Everything is welcome. And then let's drop into the practices here. So we'll go through the senses. I think it's really cool. And there's no right or wrong here. It's actually an opportunity for you to feel, speaking of senses, how you can move through the different senses in your ways. And I'll just give you some examples. So we'll start with sight. See. Can you see your money without judgment this week? What might that look like? Maybe that's going into your bank account or into your financials or whatever, credit card statement, retirement account, and just see the money in there without judging it, without making a story about it, without disassociating. And breathe, right? Use episode 11's techniques to continue. Can you see money without judgment this week or today or this hour or this half hour or this 10 minutes? So let's see. Touch. Where can you touch something that reminds you of money this week? Could it be, where you actually touch dollar bills? We don't actually have dollar bills in our pocket as much as we used to. So I think it's cool to actually have some dollar bills and like touch them. Or maybe it's a piece of jewelry or something somebody gave you. Like I have a piece of rose quartz or something that maybe reminds me of, abundance. Or maybe it's a piece of fabric. For me, an example of that is velvet is like a touchy-feely thing that represents wealth to me for whatever reason. And for you, like what can you touch, feel that is money? Take it simply. And then sound. What sounds like money to you? I always think of when I go into the QuickBooks, there used to be this cha-ching that would go when you would deposit money into the bank account. I actually have a friend who uses Venmo, and every so often in his phone, it goes cha-ching as when he gets money deposited. And I think it's really funny. It sounds like a cash register making a sale. So maybe that's the sound. What does money sound like to you? Maybe it's the it hitting the bank account with a cha-ching. Maybe it's a song that's money. Actually, I'll link my money playlist in the link in the show notes below. Maybe you'll find something there. Could it be the sound of your favorite money meditation or mantra, like hearing yourself talk about money in ways that are expansive versus contracting? These are just examples, and have fun with it. And then smell. What smells remind you of money? Well, yeah. Well, in the spirit of realness, yeah, you could smell money, actually. And again, we don't carry too much money around, and who would want to do that anyway? So there's that thing. But smell could be associated with a bunch of flowers that you just bought with money, in exchange, right? For that. They get extra cash for that to buy this week. Or maybe it's a remembrance of someone long ago who you looked up to as a money model, perhaps, and maybe they're just remembrance of where, what their house smelled like or how they came across. Maybe it's food, nourishing food that you have with you that's made you feel safe or whole, right? It's not about the actual money in the bank account. It's like the connection of these feelings to your own internal birthright of abundance. And then taste, speaking of food, what representation of taste could you inhabit to embody wealth? Could it be a type of food? Maybe there's a savoring, exploring of different types of foods, or maybe it's going out to eat at your favorite restaurant, right? So here are the 5 senses that you can play around with of living a more sensory life around a more sensory financial life. Really feeling into when you think about your dreams and your desires for money, whatever those are. And I just smile thinking about you all thinking about your dreams as I think about mine. Really feel them. What does it sound like? What would it smell like? What would happen? What would you see happen when those came true? So pick one sense, explore all of them. We're all about choice here. And as we amplify our sensory experience of money, we get to hold a bigger view of abundance and how from there it can show up in our bank accounts in different ways. So let's end with this. Feminine wisdom, love, and power stands rooted in an embodied sensory relationship with money. Your wisdom, your love, your power around money stands rooted in a sensory relationship. So this episode of Made for Money is about orienting to that. How will you explore it this week? And in a way, as you've noticed, and as we get into February, more to be revealed around this, but I'm not necessarily always teaching you how to make money. I'm teaching you how to stay present enough to keep it. That's containment, which leads to a natural expansion. Like you just can't help it. And it's physics. So yeah, it can feel out there. And at the same time, it's the universal laws at play. All right. So bye for now. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, for sharing, for the stars, for the reviews. Please leave them. I would love to hear from you. And for all the love. It's my great pleasure. It's my honor to be of service and use my voice in this way. So big love.